fast, challenging, and remains relatively unsanitised by modern safety standards. It's an old school circuit, laid out in a figure of 8. Make a mistake here, and a gravel trap will usually punish you. The first section is the most challenging part of the lap, a tricky double apex right-hander, the entry of which is taken flat out before gradually tightening. This is where Ayrton Senna infamously drove into his bitter rival Alain Prost, settling the outcome of the 1990 World Championship in Senna's favour, after officials refused his request to move pole position. It's also where Kimi Raikkonen memorably swept past Giancarlo Fisichella on the last lap to win the thrilling 2005 Japanese Grand Prix after starting 17th on the grid. From there, the drivers accelerate uphill through a sequence of snaking S-bends, left, right, finishing with the long left-hander of the Dunlop curve, trying to carry as much speed as possible. None of these corners is taken at full throttle, so this is the section where downforce is king and Red Bull stands its best chance of carrying the fight to Mercedes and Ferrari. This is also the part of the circuit where Jules Bianchi suffered his horrendous accident during the 2014 race, after losing control in wet conditions and colliding with a recovery vehicle. Next come two tough and quick right-handers, the Degner curves, both of which require the drivers to ride curbs that can unsettle the car and easily cause a crash or lead to a time-sapping wide moment through the gravel. From here, the cars accelerate underneath the circuit's flyover and through a flat-out right-hand kink, which is where Daniel Kvyat obliterated his Red Bull after mistakenly touching the grass while turning in during qualifying for the 2015 race. Survived the kink, and he reached the hairpin, the slowest corner of the lap, and a rare overtaking opportunity, something local hero Kamui Kobayashi took full advantage of during the 2010 race here, ambushing several drivers with daredevil late braking manoeuvres to finish 7th in his Sauber. After blasting around a long, curving, straight that's not really a straight, the cars descend on Spoon Curve, another difficult double apex corner that ruthlessly punishes mistakes. The entry to both parts is fast, and there is simply no room for imprecision, as Damon Hill and David Coulthard both found to their cost while trying to stop Michael Schumacher winning the damp 1995 race. Make it through that section and the drivers can relax momentarily as they blast their way back towards the start-finish line. Respite is only brief, however, because next comes 130R, probably one of the most famously fearsome cornering challenges in Formula 1. Well, it used to be, before the left-hander was re-profiled and made less daunting. Le Mans legend Alan McNish suffered an enormous crash at the old version of this corner during qualifying for the 2002 race. These days, it's a simple, gentle kink for F1 cars. Exit 130R pointing in the right direction, and all that's left to negotiate is the final chicane, which carries the cars right, then left. The entry is difficult to sight, as the track drops rapidly downhill after the first part, before carrying the cars through a long, arcing right-hander to the finish line. This chicane was the scene of another of F1's infamous Prost-Senna moments, when the two legends collided while disputing the lead of the 1989 race. Senna's disqualification from victory that year settled the championship in Prost's favour. Drama is usually never far away when F1 comes to Suzuka.
Hello, my name is Max Verstappen and I'll take you around for a lap around Spa-Francorchamps. So here we are starting the lap at Spa-Francorchamps. The very first corner is a very tight hairpin. Braking is very difficult because you run low downforce, but then again it's all about the exit because you have such a long straight ahead, so whatever you can gain there you will gain the whole straight. Then one of the most famous corners, the Rouge, very fast, flat out, trying to minimize the steering angle, and then you open your DRS on the back straight. For me, it was very special to drive there because you see a lot of orange on the left, so it's very cool to see. Late braking around 70 meters into the very fast right-hander with a combination to the left and the right, so you have to really find your way through the corners because it's all linked to each other. Running onto the exit curb. Braking is a downhill hairpin, so again front locking is possible. Try to keep a tight line and prepare again for the next left-hander, which is downhill again, where you then again run very wide over the exit curb. Then this is one of the coolest corners of the tracks, very fast left-hander, 7 gear, almost flat out, using all the road available. And yeah, arriving to the next sequence is the right-hander, 5th gear, keeping it in the middle for the left-hander, and running wide onto the curb. Then this one is again all about the exit, the right-hander, because there's a very long straight ahead, because this right kink is flat out for us in the F1 car. So it's all about trying to get the exit right. And then you arrive onto a very long straight. We're very close to Blanchimont right now, which is also again a very fast corner, flat out, around 300 kilometers an hour. And here's a very difficult braking, a bit of bumps, so easy to front lock. This is off camera, so easy to lose the rear. And then it's here again, difficult traction, but trying to get the best possible exit. And that's a lap around Spa.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us once again here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Saturday afternoon, you know what it is. Season number 3 getting ready to get underway for the Formula I drivers out there this year. New car, new faces, new teams here at Suzuka Circuit in Japan. These drivers going to put on one heck of a show in the open wheel cars, the Renault 3.5s. And, well, we're going to wait just a little bit longer, see if we get anybody out there on track before we step away for just a brief moment. Last year's season champion looks like he has made it to the track. So, interesting to see how his season will begin here in the Formula I season number 3. And while we wait for some of these drivers to get out of the paddock, we're going to step away for just a brief moment. Stay with us here on Turn 3 Racing Network. We will be right as soon as I can find it. There we go. We will be right back. welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. As you can see out on the background, drivers have hit the racing surface. Season number 3 is underway here at the Suzuki circuit in Japan. Race number 1 for these drivers. Gonna present some challenges for them, as you've seen in the opening credits, taking you around the track. Multiple spots for these drivers to get themselves in trouble if they are not careful. There you see the length, 3.5 miles around this enormous, almost figure 8. There you see part of that figure 8 I was speaking about. Overpass, underpass, crossing over itself. 17 turns here today for these drivers. One pit stop is mandated this season for these Formula I drivers. So that's going to put a little bit of an interesting twist into the season this year. Also new to the season. While we still have our 30-minute qualifying, I believe it is the last 5 to 10 minutes of qualifying are for the top 5 drivers to go out there and try to put down a faster time. So a super pole qualifying in the last moments of qualifying here this year for the Formula I drivers running in the Renault 3.5 this year, moving away from the Dallara F3. So a new car also going to present some challenges to these drivers. Also this year for the league in the series, no longer a timed event. This is a lap event. I believe today's race is 30 laps, and it may sound like a low number, but 30 laps around a track this big, that's an awful long time to be sitting in the seat. But I'll quit running my mouth and get you down to trackside for some qualifying. 20 minutes left here in qualifying. Let's see who we can jump on board with. Why don't we begin with one of the series sponsors? Let's jump out there and take a ride around the track with the 61 of Mark Bruning. New this year for Mark, new team, him and Danny Hoekstra teaming up to make Tulip Racing. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout the racing season. Danny not able to be at the track this week in Japan. He's over there in Disney World enjoying Mickey Mouse and all the fun down there. I personally felt like a 7-year-old when I went 2 years ago. So enjoy the trip. Have fun, Danny. Can't wait to see you back out there on track. And we're going to let a few more drivers turn in a few more timed laps right now. Only 3 drivers completing a timed lap so far, so the qualifying board going to be pretty blank up there when we scroll it down to the left-hand side of your screen. And my goodness, we're running around here with no track audio. There you go. Somebody forgot to plug the cord in over there. They're going to have to get fired, or at least some deductions out of their check, that's for sure. Nonetheless, there you see Mark Bruning coming out from, I believe that may have been turn... Well, there's the hairpin, so that's turn 11 right there. So he was coming out of 5-6, somewhere around that range. Still getting acclimated to Suzuki. It's a huge, huge course. Have a few more drivers throwing down some timed laps, so we'll go ahead and we'll put that up on screen for you. Over to your left-hand side, this is how qualifying is shaking out so far. Newcomer to the league and series. There you see him on top of the board right now as they sit. Dave Guild right there, making his presence felt early in the season. Also another newcomer sitting in second position right now, Corey Whiting. He's making a name for himself as well. Mark Bruning, who we are on screen with, has slotted into the third position. And I tell you what, for the rest of the lap, let's jump on board and see what Mark sees. Since we last checked on our leaderboard, looks like Will Zoller in that 67 returning to the track with Formula I and returning to the top of the charts, up there taking the pole position right now as we have about 15 minutes left in qualifying. So driver's going to have to get out there, make some timed laps. Want to thank Mark for allowing us to put this in-car camera right there on top of his helmet so you can see what he sees. A little bit of a lock up there, making his way through the first few corners of the track, working now through, I believe this is 5 and 4, 5, 6. It's like a succession of turns there. Turns 3 through about 7, just back to back, snaking up through the track. So lock up and oversteer can be very detrimental to your race if you're not careful. So we'll jump out here. We'll see who else we can jump on board with. Looks like the 16. Oh, as Mark Bruning goes around Patrick Woodstrup. We'll jump on board up here with him for just a moment. Watch him make his way through the field. Has a car right on his gearbox there. Oh, contact with that outside wall. My goodness. I believe that may have been Cody Sandwith that may have went around right there. Not quite sure if that was him or not. Believe it was though, but we'll keep on keeping it on. Watching this 16 of Patrick Woodstrup make his way around the track. Patrick slotted in the 10th position right now in qualifying. We'll go ahead and throw it up for you one more time here as we are halfway through open qualifying. 30-minute session, under 15 minutes left. Remember, the Super Pole is yet to begin as well, so being one of those top 5 drivers is very, very key to being able to possibly take the pole position when we start race number 1 here in about 15 minutes or so. Drivers will hit the grid standing start, just like you see the boys in the big time do. Lights will go out and we will go green flag racing from Suzuka Circuit in Suzuka, Japan. Woodstrip improving his position up about 4 or 5 positions, actually turning in that time lap all the way up to the 7th spot. Still back up on top of the provisional pole, looking forward to the super pole. Here is that 14 of Dave Guild running in second, the 67 of Will Zoller. Third goes to the 17 of Jason Siemens. Fourth, Corey Whiting. Fifth goes to Carter Kundinger. Sixth, Carter getting beat out by Corey Whiting for fifth. That's going to put Kundinger back to seventh. Eighth is Carlos Cotal. Ninth, Cody Sandwith. 10th, newcomer Jorge, I believe that is. I'm not going to destroy your last name. Not going to destroy that one. Sorry there, Jorge. So we'll move on to 11th position. Florian Neidl sitting there in his 13th machine, doing a good job so far early in the season. The 33 of Pate Albin running in 12th right now. 13, the 08 of Troy Banks. Those are all the drivers that have turned in time laps. Emilio Fernandez Garrido in his number 1 machine not going out on track yet. Stefan Grabowski not on track. Sergic Biel not on track yet. Danny O'Keefe and Jordan Thompson all still in the paddock, yet to turn a lap here today at Suzuka. And their chances at going for the pole position are slipping away from them with every second that clicks off of the board. We'll get rid of that qualifying order for you. Let's go out there and I tell you what, let's go out there with this number 2 machine of Carlos Cotal as he makes his way around the track. Out of the way goes, I believe that was Woodstrip that got out of the way right there. That may have been Jason Siemens actually moving out of the way. Yes, it was Jason moving out of the way of Carlos as he's trying to put down a hot lap here. Just a little over 10 minutes left here in qualifying, and they may have actually, I believe it's the last 5 minutes, so drivers do have 1, possibly 2 attempts to come around and put themselves inside that top 5 in order to have a shot at the Super Pole here today in race number 1, season 3 for Formula I. Carlos gonna have to take one more shot at it, at least if he's gonna try it. No, he's gonna go ahead and bring that thing to a stop. So we'll jump up, taking a look here at Florian Neidl on his 13 machine. His Scuderia AOD making its way around the track, and I believe that, I'm not quite sure who that was. A little bit too far away to see the numbers on that nose cone to figure out who that was. Looking at timing and scoring, not revealing itself there either. David Guild in his 14 machine still up there on top of the board as we sit with just a little over 8.5 minutes left here in qualifying. Then we will get things kicked off and ready to go once again. And Guild out there on his own this weekend. His teammate Graham Lawhead not able to make it to the track this weekend, so Dave gonna be the only driver out there representing Crown Racing. As soon as he goes back out on track, he's still sitting he's on pit lane right now, just not out on track. So once he goes back out on track, we'll jump on board with your qualifying leader as we get set to begin this Super Pole time session here with just a little under 8 minutes left. Good corner there by Florian, making his way through that hairpin at turn 10 and 11. Now around the long sweeping turns here. Drivers really starting to scrap it out for those top 5 positions. Dave Guild still on top of the board. Will Zoller in second. Jason Siemens third. Cody Sandwith in fourth. Fifth, the 0-2 of Carter Kundinger. And I tell you what, looks like Dave Guild has begun to get out there on track. So we'll jump back here with man that's sitting on top of the leaderboard in his Crown Racing machine. Trying to go down. Put down some even faster laps. There you see the time so far. Information on Dave as he's making his way around this track. Going to work our way through a few of the drivers out there on track. Here we see yet another newcomer to the series and league, Cedric Beal, in his 6 machine going out on track now. Cold tires are a factor in these cars, so tire management definitely going to come into play with a mandatory pit stop being involved. So things going to get a little bit interesting with strategy, tire management, fuel management, everything like that's going to start to come into play this season in the Renault 3.5 for the Formula I drivers here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Jumping back now to the 8th place runner, the 15 of Danny O'Keefe. Danny made a handful of starts last year, has returned to the track once again with the Formula I League here on iRacing.com, world's #1 racing simulator. If you want to drive it, run it, crash it, flip it, whatever, iRacing has got it. Laser scan to precision, all tracks and cars. And I promise you one thing, it is a lot cheaper to wad up one of these machines on iRacing as opposed to, you know, throwing anywhere from $1 million to, I don't even begin to speculate how much these Renault 3.5s or the F1 machines run, but I guarantee you it's in the I don't know, I'd say $10 million range. I don't know, we'll see. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Anyways, 3.5 minutes left here in qualifying. Let's jump back now with, tell you what, let's go on board with this 9 of Cody Sandwith as he makes his way around the track. Let's see if we can't get a good on-board shot here today. We'll get rid of the qualifying bar for you. There you go. Get a look at what Cody sees as he is making his way around the track here today. A little bit of a moment right there for Cody. Gets it all settled down, pointed in the right direction, and off he goes once again. Cody sitting in fourth, pushing hard, trying to get all he can out of this car, down into the hairpin at turn 10 and 11. Very distinct part of the track. Long right-hander here. This is somewhat of a double left-hander, if you will. It looks like it's one giant turn, but it's actually comprised of two shorter turns with a little bit of a straight in between, down the long stretch here into another flat out basically left-hander, and then into a hard braking zone here for the last few turns to finish out the lap. You could hear him, those rear tires not wanting to hook up, had to stay off the gas for just a moment. Gonna cross the line. Does he improve his position? No, he doesn't. Still sitting in the fourth spot. But getting some good laps in. Under a minute left to go here in qualifying. So I think that's gonna pretty much wrap it up. We'll throw up your qualifying as it runs right now. There you see it to the left-hand side. David Guild and his 14 machine sitting on top of the board. Going to walk away with today's pole position. Will Zoller in second in his 67 machine. Great job by Will. And Jason Siemens rounding out your top three here in qualifying in his 17 Siemens Privateer Renault 3.5. Oh, big moment for Sandwith as he goes around. He loops it. My goodness gracious. And whew, that's one way to end qualifying if you want to. Drivers being able to finish their time lapse that they are currently out there on. So we'll keep our eye on everything while we step away for a quick commercial break here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Oh, hi. What's your name? Hi, Marcia. I almost erased you. I was going to draw a car. You do? But you're a Well, I don't know. A racing driver? Well, we can make that happen.
Thanks for sticking with us. Qualifying is over. It is in the books. Your pole sitter for race number 1 here in season number 3. David Guild and his 14 machine taking the top spot. Waiting for all the drivers to get out there and grid it up, and we will go through your starting order for today's race. Let's see if we can't get you a little bit better a shot of today's grid. And here we go. Row number 1, Dave Guild and Cedric Beal. Row number 2, Will Zoller, Jason Siemens. Row number 3, the 9 of Cody Sandwith and the 02 of Carter Cumdinger. Row number 4, the 12 of Corey Whiting and Danny O'Keefe. Row number 5, Emilio Fernandez Garrido and Carlos Cotau. Row number 6, Mark Bruning and Patrick Woodstrup. Row number 7, Florian Neidl and Jorge. I'm not going to destroy your last name, Jorge. Row number 8, Troy Banks and Stefan Grabowski. Row number 9, Jordan Thompson and Pate Albin. And that is going to be your starting order for today's race. Cars gridded up, ready to go. Lights are out at Suzuki, and we are off. Racing Guild. Oh, trouble in the back already on the start. I believe that may have been Will Zoller. No, he is in the pits. Who was that way in the back? Trouble early. Guild has lost the lead already. Looks like Cedric has gotten off to a better start. Gonna put himself in position. That may have been Troy Banks. That's who that was. Troy with a rough start there, spinning at the beginning. Let's see if we can't catch that really fast one time for you. No, not getting it there. We'll go back with your race leader, Cedric Bill, as he's trying to make his way around the track. My goodness, already some crazy fast action going on here at Suzuki. Jason Siemens sitting in that 4th position just behind Cody. There you see Carter Cumdinger, Corey Whiting, Danny O'Keefe. All of these drivers right on top of each other early here in the race. 30 laps of racing here at this 3.5 mile track. See these. Oh, and another car going around. Carlos Cotau with a moment as well. My goodness, Carlos. Rough go of it early here. Let's take a look at what happened to Carlos. Maybe slight contact to that right rear, and Carlos went around. And that's all she wrote for him. He gave up a ton of time, ton of positions. We'll go back up front with your race leader, Cedric Beal, making his presence felt early here at Suzuki. One of the newcomers sitting in second. Also a newcomer this season, Dave Guild. Jason Siemens now running in third, able to take the position away from Cody Sandwith. And there you see a long string of drivers working their way up through the S's here. I'm just going to call them the S's because, as I stated already, that's about turn 3 through 7, all linked up right here, just snaking its way uphill. Oh, and Cody with some trouble and off track. We'll take a look back at Cody off in the sand pit here in the gravel trap. And he's going to have to sit there and make sure everybody goes by. Big time moment early in the race here for Cody Sandwith, dropping all the way back to the 16th position. Battle up front still raging on between your race leader Cedric Beal and David Guild in the 14, right on his gearbox. Trying to keep my eye all over the track, but we have a battle for the race lead here brewing and is underway. No DRS for these drivers, so they have to get it done on shore, slipstream, and a little bit of draft and aero help, but you got to be careful in that dirty air, especially under the high-paced corners. Back down the front stretch to begin lap number 3. Cedric Beal has assumed the race lead on the start and has not looked back yet. Dave Guild, I should say, I apologize, has been trying to make his way by him since the start as well. So we'll go back as this battle is starting to calm down a little bit. We'll take a look a little further through the field. Here we see the 4 of Stefan Grabowski running in his 4 machine, sitting in the 8th position right now, just in front of Patrick Woodstrup. Not much as threat. There is Patrick Woodstrup, as he is 1.5 seconds behind Stefan here. So the gap doesn't look like much, but that's quite a bit. It can be given up very quickly, though. Slight mistakes add up to big time on the board. Pate Albin with some trouble. Pate going around. We'll take a look back, see what happened to Pate here. He's making his way around the track. Everything looking all right for Pate as of right now. And then just back on the gas and looped it hard. Not sure if there's any damage to that nose cone. We'll look. Yeah, wing a little bit damaged up. But he's going to continue on about his business. Everything looking all right, staying out on track. Back up front, though. Battle right now for the 5th, 6th, 7th position. That is Danny O'Keefe, Carter Kundinger, and Mark Bruning. All right there, 5th, 6th, 7th. Trying to chase down Jason Siemens, trying to put themselves in the best position when they head back into turn number 1 and 2 here. And then they're going to begin that uphill climb through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they'll sort it out. Looks like O'Keefe is going to keep that 5th position for now, but for how long? Battle just behind these drivers as well between Will Zoller and Stefan Grabowski. That's starting to heat up just a little bit more. Carlos Cotal now coming back up into play, sitting just outside of your top 10. There you see just in front of Danny O'Keefe is Jason Siemens. He's trying to walk down that 12 machine. And we're going to have a battle for the lead. So we're going to jump up and join this. As Guild is all over that gearbox, slides out from behind him. Wheel to wheel there for moments coming down that long stretch. There you see Guild trying to position his car in a little bit better of a position. I know that just sounded pretty, stupid. But, hey, it's me. You already know what it is. Guild trying to make the run on the outside by himself. No help, no assistance. And, big move there by Bill. trying to keep Dave Guild from being able to get by. Oh, into the grass moment right there. Big time moment. Carter Kundinger now under fire from Patrick Woodstrup. Woodstrup able to get that position away and slot himself into 7th, trying to keep you up to speed with everything going on. Jorge Coelho, I guess. I'm just gonna Jorge. You're just Jorge for today's race. Sorry, bud. I will get your name this week and make sure I don't chop it all up. So, battle back there for 14th and 15th between Jordan Thompson and Jorge and his 23 machine. Pate Albin trying to come back from some early damage in the race. Still on the lead lap, sitting in 16th and 17th position is Cody Sand with 1 lap down here already. Early in the race, the 08 of Troy Banks. Troy had a little bit of trouble spinning it on the start there, so that put him behind the 8 ball. Right from the go. And I was too busy looking through timing, scoring, and stats and didn't see what may have happened to Dave Guild, as he has given up a ton of time here in the last lap or two. Now being shown almost 2.5 seconds behind your race leader. So that is I'm not sure what quite happened, but there you see, look at that battle going on. Oh, car flipping back there. Who was that? I believe that is Carter Kundinger right there. Oh my goodness, let's back this up and see what happened here. And oh my gosh, who was that going across the track? Oh my goodness, that is not gonna sit well with some of the admins. Let's watch this one more time, see if we can get a look at who that may have been coming across the track right there. Whew. Not good. That's going to be big time trouble for Carter Kundinger in his O2 machine in his debut here in Formula I. But someone trying to cut straight across the track. And oh, big moment for Guild under braking. He almost looped it right there. And that's going to let Cedric Beal get out to almost a 5-second lead now. All he's got to do is just manage those tires, because look in the background. Here comes Siemens. Here comes O'Keefe. Mark Bruning right there running in 5th. Also tracking down this number 14 Crown Racing machine of Dave Guild. We'll take a look back up front with your race leader, Cedric Beal, as he is just putting on a show right now. I would imagine him to be kind of slowing it down, taking it a little easy, so to speak. It looks like he is still hammered down, trying to open this gap as much as he can before maybe he makes his pit stop. Looks like the pit road delta is going to be somewhere around the 13 to 15 second mark, I believe. We'll keep an eye on the pit deltas of some of these drivers, as it looks like Will Zoller was on and off pit road, stopped for almost 10 seconds, 13 seconds on pit road, so we'll have to keep our eye on that. Looks like Patrick Woodstrup now struggling as well. We'll take a look back here with Patrick, as he is stuck in a sand pit and trying to get that thing fired back up and underway. Drivers taking evasive actions going by. That was the 13 of Florian Needle, as he's making his way back up through the field and inside of your top 10. Meanwhile, up at the front, nothing going on for this man. Just putting down some laps. Clear 4.3 seconds back to the 14 of Dave Guild, who's got 3 seconds over your third place runner, Jason Siemens. Danny O'Keefe, another second, almost 2, back to him in fourth. And then you've got another almost 3 seconds to get back to your 5th place runner right now, Mark Bruning in his 61 Tulip Racing Machine. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking through some of the timing and scoring, and it looks like some of these drivers they're in some trouble. Cody Sandwith, Pate Albin, Carter Kundinger, all very, very close to being put a lap down. They are only maybe 10 seconds or so up in front of your leader. There you see right there. That is Troy Banks gonna be going 2 laps down here early already in the race if it continues like this for him. And looks like Patrick Woodstrup has hit pit road. So Woodstrup deciding to go to pit road. He will go 1 lap down as Guild and Beal continue to put down a torrent pace. Those 2 newcomers are making a name for themselves early in the season, early in the race. We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out here, though, as we are on lap number 8 out of 30. 23 laps left to go. Still about 40 minutes of racing left here, so a lot of time to make a lot of mistakes if you're one of these drivers out there wheeling this tough car. Here, we'll go around track one time here with your race leader, Cedric Beal. We'll see how these drivers have got to handle this. And that was a lap around the track with your race leader, the 6 of Cedric Beal. And, man, I'm telling you what, 4.9 seconds ahead of second place. There you see the gap. Back to that 14 machine of David Guild, Jason Siemens running in third, Danny O'Keefe running in fourth, Mark Bruning still in that 5th position, Will Zoller in 6th, Carlos Cotal being able to recover and come back up to the 7th position, Emilio Garrido sitting in that 8th position. Good start of the race for him as we are nearing the halfway, and there are drivers all over each other here. I'll have to go back and see where that was. There it is. Carlos Cotal, Will Zoller, Emilio Garrido, all right there with each other. So there's 3-4 positions all running right with each other as we inch closer and closer to the 20 lap left to go mark here from Suzuka Circuit, Suzuka, Japan, here on Turn 3 Racing Network. And this battle just will not go away. Kotal trying to get up there and challenge Zoller for that 6th position. Kotal's got Garrido right on his spoiler as well. I believe that may be Patrick Woodstrup back there in his 16 machine. Mired early in the race with some trouble. Now finding himself the first car 1 lap down, but Pate Albin, Carter Kundinger, those drivers also in danger of going down a lap here late on. Well, I guess midway would be late, possibly, maybe, or, you know, to me it's late. If it's halfway through the race and you haven't begun to execute the strategy, it's probably going to be a little bit too late to employ it, so we'll have to wait and see how these next couple of laps shake out. Looks like a few drivers are beginning to catch up with each other. Closest battle on track, though, is between these 3 drivers right here. Zoller, Kotal, Garrido, all right there for position with each other, all within about a half a second or so of each other up at the front. Nothing much going on. Beal being able to maintain his race lead, 4.9 seconds, now down to 4.5. Guild has been able to maintain about that 4-second gap back to the 3rd place runner of Jason Siemens. And Danny O'Keefe was gaining a little bit of time there on Siemens, but he has dropped off just a little bit, giving way to the 61 of Mark Bruning, who's beginning to close in on O'Keefe. So those drivers may be battling here in the next possible 3 laps or so, as the on-screen battle is beginning to spread itself back out. Zoller stepping away from Carlos Kotal as he is making his way through the S's here at Suzuka, trying to get away from Emilio Fernandez Garrido in his number 1 machine. We'll jump back up a little bit closer. There you see, we're getting some drivers getting close to each other, going around the lap car of, I believe that was Pate Albin, giving way there to the front of the field. Siemens now under a second in front of O'Keefe. Mark Bruning right there, 1.5 seconds back behind O'Keefe. So Bruning looking to try to come up and steal some spotlight from these 2 drivers and put himself into that final podium position. Here we see Siemens started in 4th, dropped 1 position, able to come all the way back up to the 3rd spot. And if we look at most of these drivers up front, as O'Keefe looking to the inside, catches the curb a little bit, not going to be able to make the pass. He's going to stay back there in the 4th position. That was a little bit of a bold move, a little bit late in my opinion, but a little bit bold, that's for sure, for O'Keefe, trying to position himself on the inside, on that right side, heading in to that last chicane. O'Keefe with some trouble, he goes around. That's going to move Bruning to 4th. O'Keefe still down there in the grass, stuck. Zoller goes by. Garrido's getting ready to go by. Kotal goes by. Will Grabowski go by as well, as Danny O'Keefe has dropped all the way to the 8th position. That's where he started. He was running up there in that 4th position, looking for 3rd. Moment under braking, sends the car around. Now he's got to make up some time on the field. I believe that is a lapped car he is working by, trying to come back up through the field and gain some positions back, gain some time back. So we'll stay with this for just a brief moment, as nothing's really happening up front. Beal still maintaining that 5-second lead over Guild. Siemens back there, Mark Bruning right there as well. Gaps are at least 2.5 to 3 seconds between all of the drivers up front, so not much going on. But we'll take a look at this man, because he was one of the faster drivers on track in the first half of this race. Big moment, locking it up, spinning it around, down in the grass, giving up a ton of time, but now making his way back through the field. Danny O'Keefe trying to set his sights on the man in front of him, the 2 of Carlos Cotal. Nothing happening, still up front with your lead. Looks like Siemens has decided to bring his 17 machine from the Siemens Privateer stable down pit road, so he's going to make his pit stop right at about the halfway point. 17 laps left to go here from Suzuka Circuit in Suzuka, Japan, for race number 1, season 3 for Formula I here on Turn 3 Racing Network. And it looks like, whoa, O'Keefe, big moment. Oh my goodness. Oh. That is Cody Sandwith. Cody, nowhere to go here when O'Keefe. We'll watch it here, see if he had any time to react. There you see O'Keefe getting loose in front of him. He's on the brakes trying, and oh man, that is tough to watch. So Sandwith troubles early. There you see him, pit road. Wow, tough break for Cody. First race of the season. We know Cody will be back, one of your usual fast drivers. So we'll try to reach out and see if Cody has a minute. No, Cody's probably a little bit frustrated right now, so we'll give him just a second. See if he does want to speak. Still watching David Guild in his second place car, the number 14, trying to walk down. Cedric Beal has been able to make up a little bit of time. Now that time under 4 seconds now, so slowly reeling him in as we've got about 16 laps left to go. And I tell you what, he's had a little bit of time to cool off, so we'll see if we can't get a word in real quick with Cody. Cody, you got your ears on, bud? Hey, Cody, it's Dave in the booth. You got your ears on?
Can you hear me?
I got you, bud.
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
Well, always sucks to talk to a driver this earlier in the race, but man, until that point, how was the race going for you out there?
Well, in some ways better than I would have ever expected, and in most other ways horrifying. The qualifying went significantly better than I was thinking it would. I started way higher up the grid than I was expecting. The race got off to a good start. Me and Jason were duking it out. And, you know, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I have a little trouble placing that car on track and drove it off the road. Then I was kind of making up places back with the back markers. Managed to make another unforced error, and, you know, honestly, it all just kind of fell apart from there. So, tough race, honestly, today.
Well, Cody, man, I know we'll see you back when we hit the track in 2 weeks, man. And as I stated when you first came on with us, tough to always talk to a driver at this point in the race, but we do appreciate you taking the time and patience to speak about a rough day out there on track.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see you out there next time.
There you have it. That was one half of Charlton Sandwith Racing. Actually, that has been changed to Radar Racing is actually the name of that team. Cody with some trouble here, though. Race leader. you seen during that interview the 6 of Cedric Beal hitting pit road. Looks like his pit delta was about 40.7 seconds. He slots back in on track in the 5th position. That's going to give the race lead to this driver right here, Dave Guild. Was your pole sitter, was he able to go hammer down long enough to make up the time to try to overcome the undercut brought on by your race leader at the time, Cedric Beal? That's going to hand over the race lead to this driver right here. This man, Will Zoller, and his 67 machine going to put himself at the top of the leaderboard, and it looks like he just went by Florian Neidl to put Neidl 1 lap down. Emilio Gerardo on track in the 2nd position. Now Carlos Cotau up into 3rd, and it looks like it's going to be close when it all shakes itself out, but it looks like Guild was able to go hammer down long enough, able to put down the laps that he needed to stay out in front of Cedric Beal. So that undercut not working out right now for Beal. Was the race leader now showing that he is behind the man on screen right here, the 14 of David Guild. But we'll keep our eye on that. We'll jump back up front with your race leader, Will Zoller, as he is making his way around the track here at Suzuka. And I tell you what, this is going to get pretty interesting, because timing and scoring does show that Zoller made a pit stop, or at least drove down pit lane. It does show him stopping, but I'm not sure if that's the case, because I believe Zoller started from pit road. So I think that's why that is registering like that. It held him for 10 seconds as Zoller now hitting pit road this time by. Looks like that's going to give the lead to the 1 machine of Emilio Fernandez Garrido, as he's going to take over the lead for the first time. Cedric Beal has led the most laps of today's race, sitting at 15 laps. Led Garrido with 1 lap. Guild with a handful of laps as well. I believe 1 or 2 laps, as he was able to get the lead and keep the lead there for some in-laps, some hot laps on the in-lap side, and absolutely was able to blast away from Beal, as it looks like it may have been a fuel-only stop for Guild, and his 14 machine stopped in his box on the paddock on pit lane for 7.6 seconds. His entire pit lane trip, his delta was 32.7. That is 8 seconds faster than Cedric Beal, who had a 40.7 delta. One of your slower pit deltas there by Cedric. So Beal giving up a ton of time there, getting on and off of pit road. He has had the longest pit stop as well, with a 15.7 pit stop. So giving up a lot of time there, sitting in his box. Not sure what happened there, but man, hate to see that race thrown away on pit road, if you will. Just maybe some adjustments were made. Maybe, just not quite sure. We'll have to wait to the end of this thing to find out. With 12 laps remaining, though, Garrido's going to stay out on track to lead his 2nd lap of the race. Carlos Cotau has decided to bring his machine down pit road. That's going to yield the position to the 14 of Dave Guild as he moves his way back into 2nd. Now, will Beal be able to come? Yes, he is. Was able to cover the delta created there by Zoller. So Cotau going all the way back now. Looks like he's going to end up somewhere around the 7th or 8th position after the pit stop is done. Garrido still out there on track. Dave Guild sitting in second has been on and off pit road already. And there's only about a 16-second gap back to Guild. So Garrido definitely going to give up the race lead. But how far will he drop? So we'll go back here with a battle that is beginning to get underway here. The 67 of Will Zoller is going to have Mark Bruning coming up just behind him very shortly. There you see Bruning just off in the distance. Siemens behind him. So Jason Siemens on pit road very early. One of the earlier drivers to hit pit road. He's been out on track for about 5 laps compared to about 3 laps. So hitting pit road 2 laps earlier. Massive undercut attempt by Siemens, and it has not worked out in the end. He has found himself actually dropping 2 spots from the 4th position down to the 6th spot on track, as we are on screen watching Will Zoller try to catch up with Cedric Beal, as Garrido has hit pit road. And that is going to give the race lead back to this man right here, Dave Guild, your pole sitter for today's race number 1 here at Suzuki and season number 3 for Formula I. And this newcomer, the rookie here in Formula I, showing what he's worth, taking the pole now, leading this race by over 10.5 seconds. He is in a zone of his own. All he's got to do is maintain it for the next 11 laps, and he will put his name in the books as race winner here in Formula I. So great way to make your debut out there on track. Coming and taking the fastest lap and then coming out and taking the race win. Beal trying in his 6 machine to get back up there and challenge for the race lead, but he has got a daunting task at hand. 10.5, now almost 11 seconds behind your race leader, and there you see him running just a little bit wide as Will Zoller is starting to close up on that gearbox of Beal. So Beal struggling right now, possibly overdriving the car, and there you see Bruning working his way up on the gearbox of Garrido, and we've got a pass on the inside. Looks like Beal's going to be able to keep the position. Zoller looking to take away that 2nd spot. 3rd on the podium isn't good enough for him. We have got 2 battles raging on track here. First one, here goes Zoller back to the inside. Is going to make the pass going into turn 1 fairly easy. Let's take a look at this battle as Bruning has backed off just a little bit. Garrido on much fresher tires, about 5 laps fresher as a matter of fact, and Zoller has been able to step away already from that 6 machine of Beal. Went from leading to the race to exiting pit road all the way back about 5th or 6th position, now falling to 3rd after Will Zoller was able to make a late pass going into turn number 1. Now on screen we are watching Emilio Garrido as he is trying to chase down Beal for that 3rd and final podium position, but he's got Mark Bruning right there waiting in the wings should he mess anything up or anything happen to him. And man, I tell you, these guys never disappoint. 10 laps to go in race number 1 here, season 3 on Turn 3 Racing Network for Formula I on iRacing.com. And in the closing stages of the race, there you see 3-4 positions that can be decided. Your race leader at this point in time, unless he has just a catastrophic failure or lack of focus David Guild is going to walk away with the race win. He is 11 and a half seconds in front of Will Zoller, sitting in second position. Zoller now moving away from Beal, just about 2 seconds in front of him. Then you go 1.2 seconds back to find your fourth place runner. Man on screen right here, running in the number 1 machine, Emilio Garrido, trying to take the position away from Beal while fending off that fast 61 machine of Mark Bruning. There you see him, the Tulip Racing driver, coming into your racing shots on screen. Fifth position. Then you got about 5 seconds to go back until you find your sixth place runner, Jason Siemens, from the Siemens Privateer camp. And I tell you what, we haven't had a chance to do it, but let's get a little blimpy action going there for you. High above the track here at Suzuka today, from our blimp cam, looking down, and there you see it. Garrido right there trying to make the pass. Oh, looked like contact. May have been some net code right there. Not quite sure from the blimp. Didn't look like there was actual contact, but Garrido gonna take that third and final podium position away from Cedric Beal, who has went from leading the race back to the fourth position. Want to give a shout out to Haywood Elite Wrestling Club out of Bethel, North Carolina. Thank you for providing all of our great aerial shots of today's race here at Suzuka in Suzuka, Japan. Now Mark Bruning trying to make his way up into the fourth spot, trying to make his way by Cedric Beal. And Zoller has been able to cut into the race lead of Guild about a second and a half has come out of that race lead. But there is still an awful lot of time to make up, as, it looks like Carlos Cotal may have had an incident. He is actually being shown off track right now. So big moment for Carlos late in the race. We'll see if we can't find Carlos, and we don't see him anywhere out on track. So we'll just have to keep it with this battle that is continuing to rage on. And it has been one crazy action-packed race so far here today from Suzuka Circuit in Suzuka, Japan. Beal now looking to the inside of the lapped machine. I believe that may be Jorge there that they are trying to make their way by. As it is, that's what it looks like from timing and scoring. Really quick, gonna do some house cleaning, just some house cleaning, let you know how everything has shaken out so far here today in race number 1. 18 drivers took to today's grid. We still have, I believe it is going to be 15 drivers still out there running on track. 3 drivers out of this race. Nine drivers still on the lead lap, and Florian Neidl, he is battling hard to stay on that lead lap at this point in time. There you see another onboard shot brought to you today from us here at Turn 3 Racing Network. You were on board with Cedric Beal as he is trying to come up there and put himself back into a podium position once he makes his way by this lapped car. This lapped car has actually created an enormous gap, almost a 4-second gap now, to get back to that final podium position. So I don't think they are going to have enough time unless the lap car just kind of obeys the blue flags and moves out of the racing line for these drivers. But we all know how that can go, and how, sometimes things just don't happen that way. So, continuing with the cleanup, looks like we've got, as I stated, 9 drivers on the lead lap. Florian Neidl struggling to stay the last car on the lead lap. 10th position, Jorge in his 23 machine is being shown the first car 1 lap down. Troy Banks in his 08, the first car 2 laps down. Carlos Cotau going to be dropping through the field as he is no longer on track with us. So that is going to put Jordan Thompson, first car 3 laps down. Then it's going to follow suit from there with Carlos Cotau finishing in 16th. Cody Sandwith finishing in 17th. And finishing in 18th, the 12 of Corey Whiting, showing 19 laps down here today. And Will Zoller was able to pull off a great pit stop, great pit lane delta, as well as Garrido. Garrido was actually the winner, one out on his pit lane, the pit delta, 31.8, fastest time on and off pit road, fastest time stationary in his pit with a 6.8 second stop. That is absolutely blazing fast, and that has allowed him to come up and take that final podium position away from Cedric Beal, who is now dealing with Mark Bruning on his gearbox. Bruning sitting in the 5th position but wants 4th. Let's take a look back here with that battle. Actually, they've finally been able to get by that lapped car, so we'll look to see if they can't close in some of that distance to your final podium position, as we have only got 5 laps left to go here in today's race. So, yeah. Bruning looking to the inside on that sweeping corner, not able to make the pass just yet, but he is right there. If Beal makes any type of mistake, Bruning is going to be there to pounce for the position as they are working their way back up to yet another back marker here in today's race, as it now looks like we've only got 8 cars left on the lead lap. Florian Neidl, although his attempt to stay on the lead lap was valiant and hard fought, he eventually has given way to your race leader, the 14 of Dave Guild, as he puts yet another car down a lap here today from Suzuki. And Bruning looking all over the track. Oh! Beal goes wide. That opened the door for a slight second there for Bruning to peek his nose inside. There he goes, making the move. Does he have enough to position the car? Does. Through the left-hander. Oh! And a car off track right now. I believe that may be Troy Banks in his 08 machine in the gravel trap. Troy, tough go at it here today, already being shown 2 laps down and going to drop a position to the 33 of Pate Albin, as Pate has been able to get by because Troy had that trouble and was stuck. Oh, big moment here going into turn 1. Beal looked back to the inside, wasn't able to keep it down there, and that's going to let Bruning have the position, and he's going to skate away with 4 laps to go here in the Japanese Grand Prix, brought to you by Formula I on iRacing.com. Presented to you by the Blonde Bullet comic book. Well, Blonde Bullet Motorsports comic book. I correct myself. And I tell you what, while we've got a moment, if I can seem to do this, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to or not, but we're going to interrupt a little bit of it for a little bit of side-by-side. 4 laps to go here from Suzuki. You won't miss a thing here on Turn 3 Racing Network. And there you go, as promised, not missing a single thing here today on Turn 3 Racing Network for race number 1, the Japanese Grand Prix, live from Suzuka. Had to pause for a minute to pay the bills. We all know how that goes. Big shout out to the driver of that 61 machine. There you see him in his Orange Tulip Racing Renault 3.5 just in front of Cedric Beal, sponsoring a vast portion of the racing season here for the Formula I drivers. So hats off to Mark Bruning, creator the Blonde Bullet Motorsports comic book. If you haven't already, head on over to Amazon.com. It's pretty simple. Type in Blonde Bullet Motorsports comic and bam, grab you a copy or two. Support your fellow racer, and I promise you will not be disappointed. It's a good little comic book. It truly is. Mark able to make his way up into the 4th position. There you see, started all the way back in the 11th position, and now he's got a fight on his hands with Beal to try to keep that 4th position. Beal gonna take it going down this front stretch, going into turn number 1. Oh, close! Oh, Beal goes off track and into the wall hard. Let's look at this from another angle. Just not there. Went very late into the corner with Bruning. We'll take one more look here. No contact made, just was not going to be able to make that corner, and hard impact into that retaining wall in what started as a great day for for Cedric Beal has found is just diminished throughout the day. Beal leading the most laps of the race here today from Suzuka for the Japanese Grand Prix, and he is going to find himself just falling tremendously through the field, now being shown in the 6th position after that tough run into turn 1. Just nowhere to go, wasn't going to be able to make the corner, and once he got in the gravel trap, that sand trap, you just can't control the car. Hard impact, and that's going to put a damper on the day and into the day, if you will, for Beal. Meanwhile, up at the front, Dave Guild has been able to keep the race lead, and yes, indeed, we've got the 1 to go presented to you here today by the Blonde Bullet Motorsports comic book. David Guild with a 6 second lead over the 2nd place runner, Will Zoller. Emilio Fernandez Garrido sitting in the 3rd position. Mark Bruning sitting in 4th, 5th. Jason Seaman 6th. Cedric Beal trying to maintain and hang on to the lead lap, as we've only got 8 cars on the lead lap. But there you see, just in front of your race leader, Dave Guild, he is not letting up. There's a car just in front of him. I believe that may be Stefan Grabowski trying to stay on the lead lap here. Guild nice and smooth on the uphill, tracking down that 4 machine of Grabowski. I'm not sure if I'd worry about even attempting a pass coming through the final chicane here. Gonna make the final right-hander. And he has done it. Race winner. Season 3, race number 1, the rookie, David Guild, getting the win, walking away with his first win here in Formula I. So hats off to Guild. Looks like Zoller has crossed the line. Garrido's going to cross the line. Looks like everybody else is going to come across the line. So we're going to take just a brief moment, step away as everybody finishes their final few corners. No positions will be given or taken at this point in time. So we'll step away for just a brief moment and we'll be right back for your post-race podium interviews here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And thanks for sticking with us and coming back for your post-race interviews. Gonna see if we can't get a hold of rookie sensation going out there grabbing the win today. Dave Guild, you got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here, mate.
Hey, what better way to make a name for yourself in a league that you just stepped into than going out, grabbing the pole position, and then walking away with the race win?
Yeah, I surprised myself, to be honest, but yeah, it was a good race. Me and Ted had a good race at the start. I kept making a few mistakes, but yeah, just carried on going and it all just come to me in the end.
Well, do you think that you made a statement here that you're going to be one of the drivers that these I don't want to call them old timers, but maybe some of these veterans with Formula I are going to have to contend with this season.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, I'm definitely going to give it a good go. And yeah, looking forward to the rest of the season. Got a good bunch of guys out there.
All right, Dave. Well, man, once again, congratulations on walking out there and getting your first win, first race of the season. I mean, what better way to start it off? So before we let you go and celebrate, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, anything like that to anybody out there that's watching?
Well, my dad, he's like, yeah, I want to shout out from there. So, yeah, there's a big shout out to my dad there. But, yeah, thank you to Jason for his setup. I mean, I've not had a car that drives like it until I tried Jason's setup. But, yeah, it's spot on. But, yeah, then Crown Racing, my teammate Graham, unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. But, yeah, hopefully in the next one, we'll try and get a 1-2.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing your rookie teammate getting out there with you and seeing what he can do in 2 weeks when we hit the track again. But, David, once again, congratulations. We'll catch up with you.
Thank you very much. And thank you to you again, David. Thank you.
There you have it. That was your race winner, driver of the 14 machine. Now let's see if we can't get a word in with part season sponsor here, Mark Bruning. You got a copy, Mark?
I do, yes sir. How you doing?
I am doing good. You would have had that third place. I believe you got a little bit held up there towards the end. Great run at the end of the race, starting from 11th to come up and just come up ever so short on that final podium position, finishing in 4th.
Yeah, I would be a little optimistic to think that I would have been able to do that. I was trying to conserve tires and putting Cedric under pressure a little bit at the same time. My rear end was really, really loose. So, I mean, I'm just flabbergasted myself that I made it this far. It was an awesome race. This car is a handful. Once you get about halfway in your stint, your car becomes really unpredictable. So, yeah, I'm just amazed I got this far, man. I got lucky on a few things. A couple of guys spun in front of me, and I got by with inches to spare. So, yeah, great race for everybody.
All right. Well, what is with a rookie here at the Formula I League coming out, taking the pole, and then walking away with the race win? What kind of effect do you think that may have on some of you veterans that have been here for a few seasons? Does that make you any concerned, or is it just too early in the season to be worried about the championship?
Well, David, it just makes you realize that you're an old guy trying to compete with people probably half your age, and that you're just not as good anymore as you hope you are.
I wasn't as good today as I was last week, so I know the feeling.
Yeah, they wrote a song about that a while back, didn't they?
I believe so, Mark. Well, man, once again, congratulations, 4th place finish. I know you would have liked it to been better, but at least it wasn't worse. So look on the bright side with that one. A good way to start off the season. Before we let you go, you want to give any shout-outs, anything like that? And I tell you what, if you don't mind, give a shout-out to some of your Dutch friends in Dutch for me.
Well, first of all, thanks very much, man. I'm ecstatic I got this far. Like I said, I want to give a big shout out to Denny Hoekstra, who's couldn't be here today, but we worked together really well to trying to get this car set up. And I also want to give a big shout out to Bert Hoekstra. He's our spotter / team manager. He helps us out with all kinds of stuff. He helped me out today with information. So here's for him in Dutch. Hey Bert, hartstikke bedankt voor je hulp tijdens deze wedstrijd. Ik had het zonder jou nooit zo ver kunnen schoppen, jongen. Thanks very much, David. I appreciate all your work, man.
Yes, sir, man. Hats off to you, and we'll look forward to seeing you on track once again. There you have it. That was your 4th place finisher, Mark Bruning, creator of the Blonde Bullet Motorsports comic book, sponsor for part of the season. And now let's see if we can't get in a quick word with league owner and operator Jason Siemens. You got a copy?
Yep, well, I'm here. Yep.
How you doing, bud?
Well, I had a bad pit stop. Let Mark get out in front of me, and then was unable to catch back up to him. We had an absolutely terrible pit stop. Dropped me from third to seventh, I think it was.
Yeah,
But
I wasn't
enough
gonna bring it
about me.
up,
Let's
Jason.
talk about you.
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but I was gonna ask. It looked like that's where I don't want to say where it all went wrong, but that's kind of where it kind of all went wrong. It looked like you were going for the undercut, and it just didn't shake out the way that you wanted.
Yeah, we went by the undercut, and Mark pitted one lap after us, which figured he probably would. And we need to go back to the replay and see what happened. Either he didn't take tires. I mean, he came out several seconds ahead of me, despite me being several seconds in front of him when I went into the pit. So you're gonna have to look at the replay and find out what happened. But all in all, fifth place, avoided some carnage. Pretty good race. Some surprises. Obviously, we knew Dave was going to be fast. Cedric is going to be real fast. Will set the fastest lap. Pretty good racing from everyone, I would say.
So I'm gonna ask you to take your helmet off for a second and put your league owner hat on for this next one. With Guild being a rookie coming in, taking the pole, you already mentioned you knew he was going to be fast, but took the pole, took the win here in race number one. You mentioned a few other rookies already here in the interview. Do you think that it's too early to be looking at championship implications, or do you think some of you veterans might have to worry about these new guys?
Well, yeah. Cedric is regularly at the pointy end of the top splits in this car. He's very quick. Yeah, Dave is incredibly quick and consistent. We knew he was gonna do well. Cedric in the sprint race, Cedric got off the line in the sprint race like a rocket, and he did not have that great of a start in the feature race. But things will do okay for him. He had some contact late in the race. He was running 4, I think, and he got bumped, I think, by Mark, or maybe he locked up the brakes. But either way, he was behind Mark, and he ended up in the band in turn 1. So I don't exactly know what happened, but he was slated for P4. He's going to be, if he shows up every race, he's going to be championship hunt, same as Dave. And the some of the new guys are formed up on teams that are going to be very competitive too. So the Constructors Championship will be something to watch. Dave's teamed up with a guy that I do Formula V with, Graham Lughead, and Graham has not raced this car on this platform yet, but he is a great racer in real life, so he'll pick it up pretty quick, I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe it's too early to say this is a changing of the guard, but there are a lot of new fast drivers in here that are going to put some of the veteran guys on alert. Sure, totally agree.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and let you put the driver's helmet back on now. Great finish. I mean, you would have liked a better finish, obviously. Everybody wants to finish in first place, but walking away top 5, not a bad way to start the season. Before we let you go and have to deal with all the administration stuff and things of that nature and celebrations, you want to give any shout-outs or any insight onto the rest of the year?
Well, I would say take care of the tires in this car, for sure, because if mistreated, these tires will fall off really quick. And these are long races, so for anyone listening, just try to survive. I mean, that's the joke every iRacing race starts with. You can't win it on turn 1, but man, we wait 2 weeks between races. You hate to have your race end on the first lap or early in the race. So I would say safe, take care of your tires, and hit your marks. And yeah, we were honestly hoping for a 4th place finish, so P5 is not too far away from that. We know Dave, Will, and Cedric are incredibly fast, so I think realistically we were thinking P4. as best of the rest. But go back to the drawing board. My teammate Patrick, he had some contact early in the race. I'll need to see exactly what happened there. But yeah, things are looking good. We bagged some points, and we'll be back for week 2, Brazil, 2 weeks from now.
All right, man. We'll pick things back up with you at Interlagos down there in Brazil in 2 weeks. Until then, man, stay safe.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Have a good one. I'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
There you have it. That was league owner and finisher in the 5th position here today for race number 1, season 3. The Japanese Grand Prix is in the books. Nothing left to do from us except give you your finishing order. There it is. Gonna be at the top of your screen, walking away with first today. Rookie sensation Dave Guild coming home in second. The 67 of Will Zoller, while Emilio Fernando Garrido slots in that third and final podium position. Coming away in 4th today, the 61 of Mark Bruning. 5th place went to Jason Siemens in his 17 from Siemens Privateer. Coming home in 6th, the 15 of Danny O'Keefe. In 7th, the 6 of Cedric Beal. And in 8th, the 4 machine of Stefan Grabowski. 9th place, the 13 of Florian Needle being scored. The first car 1 lap down. In 10th, the 23 of Jorge. And in 11th, the 16 of Patrick Woodstrup. The first car being scored 2 laps down. Coming home in 12th today, the 08 of Troy Banks. Coming home in 13th, Carter Kundinger and his 02 machine. Pate Album in the 33, walking away in 14th, rounding out your top 15 here tonight, this afternoon, I should say. The 18 of Jordan Thompson, 16th goes to the 2 of Carlos Cotau, 17th Cody Sandwith, and rounding out the field for race number 1 here at Suzuka, the Japanese Grand Prix, the 12 of Corey Whiting, and that is it. It is all over. It is all in the books from Suzuka race number 1 for Formula I season number 3 here on Turn 3 Racing Network. And I'd like to say thank you to all the fans, friends out there watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that thumbs up. Maybe smash the subscribe and beat the bejesus out of that bell over there. Get notified anytime we go live here on Turn 3 Racing Network. And for myself, David Worrell, and everybody else at Turn 3 Racing Network, thank you for stopping by. Thanks for joining us. Gonna leave you with a little clip. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Brazil at the Interlagos track for the Brazilian Grand Prix from Formula I.